Brew, fresh off of a game-winning drive.
Yeah.
It's weird he'd want a clean slate fresh off that.
Well, he doesn't.
It's almost like
Well,
everybody
understands he didn't play.
Go ahead,
Until the,
Are you
until
willing
he
to
had
guarantee that Brock Purdy, who was a sterling 23-6 in his career, who led the league in passer rating, who's undefeated in playoff games that he started and finished,
What a question.
and who's hosting a Lions defense that allowed Matthew Stafford to throw for nearly 375 yards? We haven't seen a guy like this come into the league since Tom Brady. Mr. Irrelevant, Brew, you're a guy, you've ridden for him all year.
He's my guy.
Are you willing to guarantee, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that he will have just a good game?
Great question. And unfortunately for you guys, I know the history of the NFL too well. I just do.
Greg is not.
I know that in his first 9 seasons, including when he finally won his first Super Bowl, that the great Peyton Manning, hear a brother out, that the great Peyton Manning had a passer rating under 80 7 times in his first 13 playoff games. 3 times he was in the 30s. Okay? I know that John Elway, another all-time great, and Greg trying to stare me down, another all-time great, that he, 4 times in his playoff career, completed fewer than 41% of his passes. The great John Elway, in his first 9 playoff games, Wilds, first 9, he threw at least 1 interception in each game. So if I can't guarantee, I know y'all want me to be a hot take artist and just say whatever, I can't guarantee that those 2 all-time greats, Manning number 3 on this Knicks list, Elway, 6?
5 or 6.
5, 6. I'm not going to guarantee anybody except maybe Patrick Mahomes would have a great game. Now,
good game.
What I will say,
Just a good game.
What I will say is this: I firmly believe and firmly expect Brock Purdy to play very well. And you said it, he's undefeated in the playoffs, has never thrown an interception in the postseason. And I got a graphic. Look at this graphic. Under pressure. We know golf struggles under pressure. Guess who doesn't? Brock Purdy. 8 yards per attempt, 9 TDs. Golf got 8.
No, when
golf has 8. Right. Thank you, Nick. Passer rating, nice. 7th best under pressure in the league. Golf freaking 27. Yeah, Brock Purdy is going to deal.
You have the whole take there. You got the whole.
The word guarantee. See, I used to write in the New York media, New York Times, and we always wanted to get a player to guarantee for the back page. Guarantee's a little too strong. Firmly believe, feet down, 10 toes, all that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, then I guess I got more toes down than you. I guarantee he'll have a good game.
Oh. I thought you were going the other way.
That's supposed to trump me?
Yeah, mess you up.
I just cooked. You ain't trump nobody. You better keep coming, bro.
I guarantee he has a good game because what history tells us is when he's had a bad game, he typically bounces back. And why does he bounce back? Because his coordinator, head coach Kyle Shanahan, presents a game plan that says and suggests, wait a minute, we can't allow you to shoulder this offense. He threw the ball 39 times. That's the most he's thrown the ball in his career. And so that's not the key to their success. That's not how they thrive. They thrive by turning around, handing the ball off, establishing a running game, and allowing him to then allow the running game to open things up to where he then has everything to his in his liking. So for me, I think he will have a good game. I truly believe that he will have a good game. That's Brock Purdy bouncing back.
So that was very well done, entertaining, and great, Brew. And
I don't know if entertaining is
that's a compliment. No, listen, we're in the entertainment business. I thought that was really well done. And it also, for me, was a touch nostalgic.
Oh, why?
Because it reminded me of some of my favorite moments on this show. You were here for a lot of them. And it happened to also involve... No, I don't have a clip. It happened to also involve discussing this team in the past, where it would be us talking about a different Niners quarterback and Brew would go through all these hurdles explaining how, no, I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying any of these things. However, here is a list of other greats to compare him to, a la Joe Montana or John Elway. And then at the end, twisting himself in a knot to say, but I believe. He's a winner. He'll find a way. And we all agree Brock Purdy is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
But the reason this conversation's been so frustrating, I think, for Greg and I both, is because we dealt with, at the very least, the first cousin of this same debate with the same team, with many of the same weapons, except Christian McCaffrey, over the last few years. And then when it was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the guy who was caped for so often by the quarterback win side of the table flat couldn't play dead in a Western, what we then went to was his body gave out on him. He's the oldest 31-year-old
ever. Was he not injury prone his whole career?
Was he not?
He's had like 2 full seasons in his entire career.
So exactly, and we just let it go because he stopped becoming a relevant figure in the sports world. But what everyone agrees with, and everyone, including, and this Greg Jennings, is why Niners fans have been coming after you this week. This is why Niners fans have been coming after me all year, is because they are projecting. Yeah. Because their greatest fear is what we are saying out loud, which is deep down, and Brew, I think, agrees with this. The Niners' biggest weakness, if you have to pinpoint one, is their quarterback. So for all the histrionics of third-team All-Pro, MVP finalist, did something Steve Young never did. If you actually talk to someone who believes in the Niners, who likes the Niners, who roots for the Niners, and you said, hey, guys, let's just go through it, the biggest weakness on the team, they might try to wiggle out of it and be like, I don't love our right guard play. But in reality, the answer is the quarterback.
No, I have to. He is not as good of a quarterback as McCaffrey is a running back. I'll give you that. The biggest weakness is the O-line, especially without Trent Williams. Brock Purdy, even you agree. Right. Their offensive line, but with him even. With their offensive line is in, 22nd, 21st.
I don't buy the PFF rankings.
Fine, you don't. But an objective analytical standard says they're about the 22nd best offensive line in the league.
I guess
you even say Purdy's not that low as far as a quarterback ranking.
Here's the thing. I think the PFF rankings don't work into enough of account that if you have one of the greatest left tackles of all time, it is almost impossible to have a bad offensive line.
But you got a whole other side of the line.
But let's just, instead of arguing about the right guard and the center and the right tackle, let's set that aside. Say it's offensive line. Second biggest weakness, Brew, is the quarterback.
I mean, they don't have a weakness. Okay. No. I mean, seriously. What's the weakness? The weakness, the defense last weekend, now Purdy didn't play well, but the defense didn't either. The defense at times they got run on.
So this is where, Wilds, this is where I get frustrated at times because, like I've said before, I think credit turns into a bit of a zero-sum game. I don't think we have infinite credit. And it is not that I'm trying to tear down this quarterback for overachieving. It is that in effort to prop him up, we then tear away from actual great players.
Who? From who?
I don't know. Fred Warner, Nicky Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, Travarius Ward.
Fred Warner was first-team All-Pro. Yeah. Bosa was in. They had the most Pro Bowlers in the league.
Because here's the problem. How's that taken away from them? The team was good but not great. They won 12 games. They weren't 15-2. They weren't juggernaut. We know they weren't perfect, right? We all agree they have the best running back. We all agree they have amazing skill position guys. We all agree they have a great tight end. They have the best left tackle in the football.
Who's taking away from that, though? You said in giving Purdy credit, we're taking away from them. They all made the Pro Bowl. A bunch of them made All-Pro.
Right.
Like nobody's they got McCaffrey's in the MVP vote for a running back.
Right now, this moment, when discussing them, you went to the defense might not be that good, but we know the defense is excellent.
No, I went to the offensive line, and then I said last week the defense didn't look good.
So no.
Neither did Purdy.
So you're not
I don't like when you say he's their weakness. He's not a weakness. He is a strength. If you want to say he's not as good as Christian McCaffrey, fine. Or I mean, if you want to say Debo and Ayuk and all that, the receiving core, fine. But to categorize him as a weakness, that's just not right. He's not a weakness. He's a strength.
You can guarantee him that he's going to have a good game?
I told you, I firmly believe he's playing very well.
The flip side of that, Greg, is that Mahomes has only lost one playoff game outside of the Super Bowl. Do you think he's being disrespected with people?
No, Patrick Mahomes is not being disrespected. That's the problem. See, what we do with Patrick Mahomes is we know how great he is. We know he's a well-respected individual. But we somehow want to throw this question of, is he being disrespected because we think there's a better team than what he's on? Clearly, the Baltimore Ravens have been the better team all season long. They have progressively gotten better. When you look at where they are in their season, what holes do they have? I'm not saying that they can't be beaten by this Patrick Mahomes team, but to sit here and act like we're disrespecting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because the Baltimore Ravens have been and are the better team even right now currently, like this offense. Tell me where their weakness is. Lamar drops back, he throws, he dives, he runs. This is the best running team in all of football defensively. If you want to go there, this is like that's their strength. Like, do they have a weakness? And when you look at the struggles that Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs team has had, it's fair to say that this Ravens team collectively this year, without going into the archives of last year and the year before, it's better than Patrick Mahomes' team this year, right now, constructed, without grabbing his resume and pulling it forward.
So, listen, you make a great point. It's you know what, Wilds? Let me ask you a question. Would it have been disrespectful to LeBron to say that the Hawks, when they won 60 games, had a better offense, had a better defense, should win that series? Would it have been disrespectful to LeBron to say the Raptors, when they had a better record, a better offense, and a better defense, we're going to win that series?
They didn't have the MVP. Neither of those teams had even anything close to the MVP.
Agreed, and it's also basketball versus football. I understand that. But so it is not disrespectful to say the Ravens are going to win the game. I don't think what Gronk said is disrespectful. I think a whole hell of a lot of other things have been. I think on our network, my friends, Craig Carton call him blowout. Colin Cowherd call him blowout. Brew yesterday flirting with 2 touchdowns. That's disrespectful. I think that Greg did something rhetorically smart, but I think a little unfair, which is we're not allowed to consider history here, America, which is if a player on this side of the bracket, we can show it to you, has been the best we've ever seen.
Exactly.
That has to come into it. But what about if we were just to discuss him against this very opponent, Baltimore? We can show Mahomes' career against Baltimore. Now, you can say they haven't had a defense as good as this, but for 5 of Lamar's 6 years there, they have had a first, second, or third ranked scoring defense. So they have had great defenses every year of Lamar's career but one. So that's got to play into it to a degree here. And so, yes, there is a level of disrespect. And last point on it, Brew. People are doing something this week also that's really frustrating me, which is people who, knowing all the
Ravens?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You can do that. But people who knew all the injuries Buffalo had going into the game, knew the rest disadvantage, and then picked the Bills to win, knowing all of it, are now saying, not that good of one. Come on. Everybody knew Kansas City. I'm not saying you did that, Brew, but but like that seems to me to be a little rhetorically dishonest. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.